welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be something new on my channel. I am going to be baking with you and I'm going to be using my BAKITBOX. I've been getting these for a few months now and they are amazing. So it's a subscription service, kind of like a Home Chef or one of those type of services where you get meal kits delivered to you, but this is for baking. I decided to do like a mini series on my channel with baking because the holidays are coming up and I love to bake. So today I'm gonna use my BAKITBOX, and in future recipes I may be using my own, or we may see some more of BAKITBOX. I love this service because everything comes pre-portioned, which is amazing, and it makes it so much easier to bake with children. Now today I'm not baking with my kids, but I mean, who doesn't want baking to be easier? And that way, like if there's like a weird ingredient that you just don't have or will not need more of, you've got a pre-portioned amount. So this one is going to be the Spritz cookie, and I'm so excited because I love cookies. And this one does call for an ingredient that's not included, but it's just 1 egg. So that was easy. We have chickens, so we always have eggs on hand. So just grabbed an egg out of the fridge, and everything else I need, everything else I need is in the bag. I'm sipping on a chai eggnog latte that I made that is so delicious. It's just warm and cozy and feels so good to be drinking. And it just feels like a day to bake. It's gloomy, it's cold, and let's get into it. Let's bake, and I will share this recipe with you guys in a future video. Like I said before, one of my favorite things about BAKITBOX is that everything is included in this bag, and it makes it so easy to find everything. Everything's labeled and perfectly portioned for the recipe. So anytime I'm baking, either with BAKITBOX or just following another recipe, the first thing I like to do is review my recipe and make sure I have everything set up so that I can get all of this done in the most efficient way using the least amount of dishes, because I don't like to clean up. Now BAKITBOX has a start section where there's instructions and it tells you what to do first, including preheating the oven. So I went ahead and preheated that oven to 350. And now the first step is in a large mixing bowl to combine the unsalted butter powder, the granulated sugar, and the 1 cup of water. The water is not provided, but I'm sure we all have water. But you could also substitute their butter powder for actual softened butter. I forgot to soften my butter, so I just used the powder that they had, and it worked great. I used my KitchenAid mixer, but you have to make sure you use the paddle. Otherwise, you're gonna have to use a wooden spoon to mix that. And why work harder? Let's all work smarter. If you have a KitchenAid and the paddle, just go ahead and use that. It's so much easier. And then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna add the vanilla, the egg, which was not provided, the whole milk powder, and 2 tablespoons of water. And then you mix it slowly until combined. If you substitute the milk, no water is needed for the addition here. And also another tip is you could add additional flavoring to these cookies if you wanted to, and this is when you would do it, but I just wanted to taste them pure and as they were intended. And then next you're gonna take the flour and the baking powder and add it to the bowl, mixing slowly until all combined. You may need to use a spatula to scrape down the sides. Once that's all mixed together and you can tell that it's made a really good dough, you're gonna wanna take your baking sheet and either put parchment paper or a non-stick baking mat on it. Do not spray cooking oil on your pan. That will just mess everything up according to the recipe. So I stuck with what they said and I used my baking mat. I love these things. I got them on Amazon, super affordable, and I use them all the time. Now you're gonna wanna put all the dough into your piping bag, and you get to have a lot of fun with the cookie shapes. I found it really hard to squeeze the dough out of this bag, but once I got the hang of it, the cookies turned out a lot better. My first couple shapes were a little bit funky looking, but I had so much fun making different shaped cookies. I tried to get a little creative. I tried to make a rose out of one of them. It didn't turn out very well, but it was a lot of fun making these shapes. While you are getting creative in making these shapes, just keep in mind that the cookies do expand a slight amount when they're baking, so you want to leave just a little space in between, but it doesn't have to be a lot of space. I'm pretty happy with the way all of mine turned out. Some of them look a little funny, but that's okay. It was really fun making different shapes. I kind of copied a lot of the examples that were on the BAKITBOX card. But again, I feel like that's okay because this is my first time making these cookies and I wasn't sure what would work best. We put the cookies in the oven and bake them at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 10 to 12 minutes. The cookies should be lightly golden around the edges but pale in the center. And also, if you wanted to make these cookies a little bit more festive, you could put some sprinkles or some colored sugar on top of the cookies before you bake them, and it would add a little bit of color. That is it. I baked these yummy cookies. I love BAKITBOX because I'm baking things that I would never pick myself. Like, if I saw these cookies online, I'd be like, I don't know if I want to do that. But since it was delivered to me and I baked them, I'm so happy because I like trying new things. I like doing new things. So BAKITBOX definitely steps me out of my comfort zone when it comes to baking. And these are so delicious. They're like a perfect, simple cookie. They're not super sweet. They're just really good. They're perfect to pair with like a coffee or these are perfect to pair with a coffee or some tea or just to go along with your Christmas cookies for the holidays so that you don't have too many super sweet items. This is the perfect not too sweet cookie. I'm really excited to share these with my family and friends this holiday season. And another way to make them more festive is if you add a little bit of colored sugar before you bake the cookies, then it'll just be a little bit more festive and a little bit more bright and a little bit more colorful. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it. Make sure you give me a thumbs up if you want to see more videos like this. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Eat all these cookies. So good. So good. What I love is that they're not super sweet. Most cookies are like overpoweringly sweet. This almost feels like I'm having like a mixture between a cookie and a biscuit, and it's so, so good. It goes really well with the chai eggnog I was drinking. So good.